military veteran, sports ownership, business owner, husband, father, brother, son, compressor of the golf ball. This is episode Andrew Ford. Welcome to the Jerry White Show. I am your host, Jerry White. Andrew, welcome, man. Thank you so much for taking time out of your incredibly busy day to be with me today.
Hey, you're very welcome, man. Anything for a friend, and no, I enjoy chatting with you at all times. So no, we can just this is just more of a formal conversation. So no, I'm happy to be here, and thanks for having me.
Man, I'm gonna anytime I was told if I'm having you on, I should probably send the copy to the attorney and get it pre-approved before release.
Yeah,
Take
yeah,
that for what it's worth.
yeah.
Hey, let's get right into it, man. Again, I don't have a ton of I don't typically write questions down. I just topic notes I want us to get into.
Okay.
Um, I'm thinking about all the conversations we've had over the years and talking about people. You are the epitome of a family man. Make no mistake about it. Talk a little
Yeah.
bit about that and why family's so important to you.
Well, I was very fortunate, growing up, and it's well, what's the right way to answer it? I was fortunate in the way of it's kind of sad that some others aren't, where I just have an incredibly close knit family.
Mm.
And it started at the top. It started with my dad, my mom, and what they showed me, my brothers, for well, still to this day, 38 years later. It's just my dad was a full colonel. I mean, we moved around no less than 10 times. I mean, one of my brothers was born in Italy, one of my brothers was born in Oklahoma, I was born in Georgia. It's just, so yeah, it's been a mixed bag of travel up until really I was a teenager. But that entire time, fortunately for me and my brothers, my parents were close knit. They had great parents. I mean, so we were very close to our grandparents. So it's just we were lucky.
Mm.
It's one of my other brothers who we adopted very early on. Was not as lucky. And so he actually ended up going to the Big Oak Ranch there at Westbrook. We started resource parenting. For him when I was probably 10, no, probably 12, and shortly after that he became our brother. And so now, you know 20 some odd years later, he's the warehouse director for my company. Served his country, was a decorated veteran.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so yeah, so family has never been more important than anything with all of the Fords.
Sure.
So it's just so yeah, so to make a long answer short, we're lucky. And so I then passed that down. Now luckily for us, most of my family members work for me. So it's my father's our director of HR. He retired after 27 years, in HR, in the manufacturing industry. And so he, luckily for me, retired from there and now is our HR director. My brother Matt was a 17-year school teacher, dean of academics for an Ivy League prep school, and I convinced him a couple years ago to come and become our corporate operations manager. Then my brother Jeff, of course, is our warehouse director. My father-in-law is one of our senior account managers. I mean, he was retired venture capital. So it's and then various other family members and other office locations that we have and stuff. So it's definitely, even though I own the business, we still say it's a family owned and operated business.
No
So
question about that for sure. And man,
yes, sir.
I can't think of your dad. Every time I think of your dad, I picture that truck. Every time, I don't know why, man. That's just something that's
Yeah.
really cool, and we don't have to get into that. Just as a personal thing there. Um,
No, it's okay.
you left you left the managers out there. I see them walking by.
Oh yeah. No, they're, old Susan's now bringing in a cup of coffee for me because she's amazing. And so the two mascots here, think that, they think that they got some food coming. So but no, they come to the office with me every day, man. It's kind of it's ridiculous. I mean, like even our kids at school every day when we go pick them up and stuff like that, the teachers get upset if the dogs aren't in the car, you know.
Well, I'm with
So
you. Every time I come to your office, I actually come to see them, not to hang out with you.
it makes perfect sense. I mean,
I'm with you.
yeah, hey, nasty, hey, come here. Yeah, so no, this is our mascot for ZLA, old nasty boy. Yes, I know that name is ridiculous, but there's a story behind it, and I won't bother y'all with it. But evidently, yeah, you know what? I am going to bother you, but
Yes.
evidently, I didn't realize that dogs can have two different dog daddies in the same litter. And so when he was born, our golden doodle was mated with a golden retriever, and he came out and was twice the size of all of the other puppies. And so my youngest daughter was like, that puppy's nasty, and it just kind of stuck. Um, and so lo and behold, about a year later, when we take him to the
Yeah.
vet was like, "That's a Great Pyrenees,"
That's
and I was
awesome.
like, "What?" And then he told us that that can happen and stuff. And of course, we then remember across the street was a Great Pyrenees, and so there you go. So he is called a paradoodle.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I thought you were going to make a Janet Jackson reference. I wasn't sure where we were going with Nasty
no,
Boy there. So,
no,
hey, talk a little bit about your company, ZLA Solutions, man.
okay,
You guys put people to work.
we sure do. So we started about 10 years ago. My background was in recruitment, and lo and behold, we were doing quality inspectors, is what they're called, for Honda in Lincoln. And they were using my staffing service for it, and I became friends with the operations manager there, and was kind of like, why are y'all using a temp staffing company to fill these jobs? We can just do it ourselves, and we can be cheaper, but also keep the same margin, a profit. And lo and behold, about 3 months later, we ended up starting our own business together.
Heck yeah.
And he was actually the L in ZLA, and so that's kind of where we were founded, was on providing temporary staffing services for third party quality inspection. What that means is, say this cup is a part of a Honda vehicle, okay, and the actual Honda plant gets said cup and it's wrong size, right? So they track what supplier sent us this cup, right? And now they're in timeout, okay, because they didn't make the right cup. So they force a outside company to go in and inspect said cups, and then put your little sticker on it that it's inspected and that it's in spec and all that kind of stuff. And so that is what quality inspection is. It is a third party outsourced function by your OEM, which means original equipment manufacturer, which is where the cars actually roll off the line.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that is what third party is. And then most third party companies have to utilize staffing agencies to provide them their employees, because a lot of the times they're not full time jobs. It's, hey, go in and inspect 20,000 of these cups, and then the job's done. So it's on the company to have more customers, have more work, so you can keep people working full time. And then, to take it a step further, we try to differentiate ourselves to where, we don't have like brick and mortar branches. Like when you come to our office here, we have a big warehouse behind it, right?
Yeah.
So we actually keep people employed doing assembly, kitting, um, anything. I mean, we even put nuts on bolts, for a couple foundry customers, but we're able to use those employees to go on site, do quality jobs, and keep everybody working full time. So it all works well. As of last year, bought out our business partners, and so now it's 100% me, which is awesome. Super thankful. And so we are aggressively right now growing into other business sectors. So not trying to just stay in automotive industry, stop
Sure.
trying to get into multiple different industries. So
Well,
yes, sir.
no pressure. Heavy's the head that wears the crown, right?
It's heavy sometimes.
No doubt about it. And obviously we try to get into the sports world when whoever I'm talking to on the
Of
Jerry
course.
White show here, but the Rocket City Titans, man, take
Yes,
me
sir.
back to that.
Oh Lord have mercy. What a time to be alive for them. But it what it was that I played baseball in college and loved football. Always wanted to play football in college, but thought I had a better opportunity to play further and or professionally in baseball. And so I chose baseball. And so obviously football didn't happen. I moved to Huntsville to play baseball at UAH, and then met my wife there, and she played volleyball, and so sports is just a huge part of our life. And I ended up trying out for the Arena Valley Vipers, football team, and made a couple of cuts and then frankly when I finally got the nitty gritty details of the time requirement, the actual money behind it, and all of that, it wasn't something that I could do with a family and things like that and all of that. So then I just happened to come across a buddy of mine from the gym that was playing semi-pro football, and I went out there for a practice and got the itch instantly because it was all college and pro players. I mean, it was crazy. It was dudes from Alabama, Auburn, all sorts of. I mean, but you remember Bo Freeland?
I do.
One of the
Yeah.
from Alabama. I mean, it was a group of really good players, and so but. My wife always jokes is that I can't just do something and do it. I have to go all in, go all out, whatever. And so I saw the opportunity for there to be a really good thing in Huntsville for those style men, right, who are definitely still trying to play at the next level too. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't, just any Tom, Dick, and Harry that could come be on the team. I mean, when I decided to start the team and advertised it, got sponsors and all of that, I mean, our first tryout had over 300 people,
Jeez.
and so, yeah, so we had a roster of over 60 folks, all collegiate play. The only funny thing is I actually played and I was the only non-college player, which was kind of funny, so, but anyway, we actually ended up going undefeated and winning a national championship. Believe it or not, we played actually at the home of Cam Newton
Oh,
in Atlanta
Atlanta.
for the national championship game against a team out of Chicago, and took it all the way. So
Okay.
it was super fun. It lasted for 3 years. It just I will say we made money in year one, but year two was a struggle, and then year three was just brutal. So from a financial standpoint of trying to keep a semi-pro team going without the players actually having to, come out of pocket for anything, it just wasn't sustainable long term. So I sold it to a dude and I moved on. But it was an incredible amount of fun. And I'm very thankful for it. I still got a million pictures on my Facebook from it, and
Heck
stuff.
yeah.
And definitely trying to I got this nice little
Love it.
5-inch plate and 7 screws in my arm from breaking my arm in the second round of the playoffs against Memphis. Yeah, I was an idiot. I was quarterback and I did a toss sweep to the right, and our running back cut it back across the grain, and I led blocked and just destroyed this linebacker. And when I came over the top of him, put my arm down, it just the weight of just snapped. So that was it for me. But yeah, but no, the Titans was a great thing. A lot of fun. Taught me a lot, honestly, and it taught me a lot about business because I
Mm-hmm.
kind of really just kind of learned business on the fly. Because up to that point, I've been for the 3 years prior, I'd just been a financial planner for Mutual of Omaha Company, doing all sorts of life insurance and Medicare supplements and estate planning, things like that, and it was fun. But I had no heart in it. I didn't
Yeah.
enjoy it. And so it's yeah, it was a blessing. It really was. Breaking my arm sucked, but I mean that's part of it.
It's a cool scar, though. I mean, a
It is. It's a
story.
big one.
And I heard the story could change depending on who you're talking to. I mean, you could have got that.
Yeah,
You summited, a huge mountain or something. You got in a fight with a bear. Come on, man. I know you.
yeah,
You're friends with
yeah,
Jason Wilson, so those stories could go on and on and on.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
that's a
Especially,
That's a
especially
Jerry White
just
show after hours show right there. We can't talk
yes,
about that. There it is.
yes,
Hey, Westbrook, and you brought up the
yep,
boys' ranch. Talk about how
yep.
Westbrook and being in that environment kind of helped shape you to who you are.
It absolutely did. I got to give Westbrook a lot of credit. I went to Southside until I was in seventh grade. And then my parents didn't give me an option. It was, you are now going to Westbrook. I didn't want to, of course. I had all my friends,
Yeah,
and loved them. And that was a tough year, but it was the best thing I think that could have happened for me in my development, as a young man. I mean, it's the smaller classes, of course, the Christian based faith
yeah,
was a major part, of what we do or what all the kids do at Westbrook, from the chapel services to the spirit weeks to, and the teachers, because the teachers are, of course, very strongly vetted, to make sure that they're a good Christian example, for all the students. And now, granted, when I went there, Brody Cruel went there, and all of that, and so of course there was a lot of notoriety behind sports, but it ain't nowhere near what it is now at Westbrook for
sure,
sports. I mean, my goodness, that football complex is just
bro.
incredible. I mean, what they've done to the baseball field's amazing. That new gym, the facility, I think is what they call it, that they put over there for two more gyms. I mean, they're taking the steps now to compete with the big dogs, which is cool. So yeah, I'm very very thankful to have gone there. It was absolutely a positive influence on
Mm-hmm.
me and my upbringing, you know, and I just think that it was right for me and my personality type. It may not be
Sure.
right for everybody,
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
honestly, but
And
but it was for me.
I think the facilities, man, maybe as nice as JSU.
Oh,
I mean, it's
yes. Now, granted, JSU's putting about $50 million, it seems like right now, into a couple of other
they are.
things. But as it stands right now, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, yeah. Now their baseball field's pretty incredible now. So the football field's getting better. But
yeah. I got to
but yeah,
watch the Auburn JSU game the other night. Some friends invited us out. What a great place to watch a game at JSU.
it's a good environment.
Yeah, it's incredible. So speaking of baseball, huge Braves guy, maybe the biggest Braves fan I know. Wow,
Pretty big.
I'm
Yeah.
impressed. I love sports memorabilia.
Yep.
You, my friend, you have a problem.
I do. I do. But in my defense, I haven't bought anything in a calendar year.
And it's really
Three,
pissing me off, to be honest with you.
365, man. I haven't bought a
So
single
that
thing.
means tomorrow you're hitting up Jerry White. We're
Yeah,
gonna
pretty
get you
much.
we're gonna get you some gear.
It's pretty much. But yeah,
So,
I really am. Dude, I have some of the earliest like core memories of mine is Sunday afternoons on the couch because my dad, of course, was obsessed with the Braves, so that's kind of where it funneled down,
sure,
But I mean, every single Sunday, you know, as long as I can remember, we would be watching the Sunday afternoon Braves game.
heck yeah.
And it just kind of grew from there. So from going to games to seeing how much my dad enjoyed it, and then my love for baseball, of course, continuing to grow. It just seemed like something fun to kind of get into, and then I went a little nuts for a while. But
Dude, I
you
feel
know,
it. No judgment here. Hey, want to thank W Energy, the official sponsor for the Jerry White Show. Hey, go check them out. It's great ingredients. It's no dyes, no chemicals. It is incredible. JW44, 10% off. W Energy. Hey, I'm also, man, go check out my Facebook page and YouTube page. I'm at the 700 subscribers on YouTube. It doesn't
okay,
cost you a
nice.
penny, man. It doesn't cost you a penny just to hit subscribe, and I appreciate all the support. Hey, let's get into a few things. I know time is going. You have a very busy day. Um, I read on your page somewhere, man. It's a great quote that I'm very familiar with. It's by Babe Ruth, which surprised me that you had a Babe Ruth quote up there. Every strikeout brings me closer to the next home run. That's a perfect quote for you, man. You're
Yeah.
always swinging for something.
Well, absolutely. Because one thing, this is kind of deal. I hope you'll think this is funny. Me and my brother are so extremely different, and he was, a 34 on your ACT, hundreds in everything that he did, had a doctorate, or I mean, all the things. And my dad joked because I was not blessed with with that mental acuity. And so Dad always joked, it's like Andrew's going to go somewhere because he's got street smarts and he's got hope, you know.
That's awesome, by the way.
And so he would joke about that all the time. But I saw that quote years and years ago, and it kind of did remind me of myself because I'm absolutely not afraid to strike out.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to swing the bat. You can't just sit there and be complacent. I will 1,000% say that failing led me to where I am now.
Glory.
You
That'll
know,
preach right there.
and yeah, and being able to get over it too. You know, and know that not everything's perfect. I mean, I still to this day, you know, don't do the right thing sometimes. I mean, wish I could have done something different. You know, I mean, but failure could not be more important for someone's overall, not maybe not the short term,
Sure.
but the overall growth of an individual. You know, right? And I was fortunate to have a couple of bosses actually show me kind of the wrong way to do things
Mm.
and treated me very poorly in some certain instances and caused me to fail, which was very frustrating for me because I don't. It's not like I like failure. I'm just saying it's easy to learn from failure if
Sure.
you're open to wanting to grow. You know, and I knew that my end goal was I want to provide for Kim and my kids, and in a way that provides me the ability to be at all their sporting events. You know, be able to manage my schedule and time and all of those things, and it's just that is what drove me 24/7. You know, so it's a so yeah, you got to swing the bat if you want to do anything in this life, you know, and just because you miss sometimes, get over
Yeah.
it, you know, be able to figure out what's next and figure out how to adapt, you know, and that is what I think I learned at an early age.
Well, I ran into someone the other day who surprisingly didn't know you. I'm like, what? They don't know Andrew Ford. And they said, well, who is it? I said, well, he is my local Tim Kennedy and Sean Ryan.
Huh.
That's who you are, man. Talk about your leadership style and kind of how the military played into it.
Well, I was a little different. I went into the army at a older age than most. You know, it's I signed a scholarship and a contract right out of high school actually to go straight into the army out of high school, and uh, and it was a nice prestigious scholarship. I mean, it was full ride, everything, stipend, the whole nine. They came down to Westbrook and presented it to me, and I had to compete against thousands of other guys, in the state. They only gave one in the state of Alabama, and I got it, and was very proud of that. But for me, unfortunately, again, I thought I was going to be really good at baseball, and that just wasn't the case long term. And so I got out of that contract after the first year, and I only had 1 year to decide to do that, and I decided to, and so I always regretted it.
Mm.
And I mean, I would talk about it 24/7. My wife would get so frustrated with me, and frankly, we had our second child. I was 24 years old, and my wife looked at me and she goes, "I'm going to give you, in a sense, an ultimatum. You're either going to quit talking about the army, or you're going to go in now. And, we can afford for you to go in. We can do this and this and this, but I want you to do this if this is truly what you want to do." And so to finally hear her having my back in
Mm.
that and supporting it and knowing that she was telling the truth, and it was big for me. So I decided to go in. So I went in as an officer candidate, and so I was much older, but I did. I went to Fort Leonard Wood for basic combat training. After out of 248 soldiers, I was number one in my entire platoon. So I got what's called the Commanding General's Award and stuff, and I knew that it was for me, and that it just met my mindset. It allowed me to express myself in a way that honestly I don't really know the right way to say it. It leading people, I didn't realize how easy it was for me until I got put in that position.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, sports is different, but when you're talking about male, female, black, white, 18 years old, 35 years old, doesn't matter, all in the same unit, being able to manage all of those folks and get them to really hop on the plan in a sense, of hey, I've got this. I'm going to lead us to whatever we have to do, as long as you believe in me and believe in what we're doing. And that 4 month period, I would say I grew more in that 4 month period than anything up until that point. And it was the best, in my opinion, the best thing that I could have ever done for myself. It unlocked something in me that showed me that I've got what it takes, to put things on my back, to shoulder burden, to be that, and a sounding block for people. I mean, the whole 9 yards, So it's just it was something that came very easy, and I'm very thankful for that time. And unfortunately, shortly after, about a year and a half later, in officer candidate school, I was at Fort McClellan before we got my commission. We were actually on a ruck march, and there were about 100 of us, and I stopped the convoy. And this sounds ridiculous, but I needed to tie my shoe, and it came untied. And I leaned down to tie my shoe, and the guy behind me had fallen asleep walking. And that happens, especially when you're on like these 20-mile ruck marches and things like that. And he walked right into me. I fell forward. The butt of my M16 went straight into my glenoid and cracked it in half.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so my shoulder had nothing to stop it from going in and out. So I mean, it's a there, and it's also on the back side. So I've got two rods that do there, that, and that. It severed the nerves in my shoulder.
Oh
So
my
now
gosh.
when I like put on a backpack, or what it's called in the Army is battle rattle. When you put on your ruck and everything to be able to go to war, it's unfortunately my arm goes completely numb, and I had to do what's called a reclass. Meaning, okay, you now can't be in a combat arms position because you're not fully capable. And so for me, that's not why I joined. And that's not why I enlisted. I mean, I wanted to serve, but I also didn't want to serve behind a desk.
Sure.
And so I decided to get out and medically retire. And so frankly, I don't even like telling people that I did anything in the Army, because in my opinion, I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, I went through it. I completed training, all that stuff, and I had good intentions, but I mean, I never got my commission. So I mean, it's that sucks. But I will say the whole process was phenomenal for my overall growth as a man, and for what I knew, what it unlocked in me, and what I felt like I could do. So I knew that the next step was being my own boss, and trying to lead a company from the front. And I instill a lot of those values daily with our employees here at ZLA.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, you've always been a team guy, right? And leaders lead regardless of titles. And it's kind of a mantra that you go by, right? You let
100%.
leaders lead. Hey, let's get right
Yeah.
into a little rapid fire question. I know
Okay.
again time is wasted, so I said not wasted, but you got really important things to get to. That's it. But I do appreciate taking time with us. Here we got a little rapid fire moment here on the
Okay.
Jerry White Show. Top three favorite movies.
Oh, that's easy. Shawshank Redemption,
Ooh.
For Love of the Game.
Mm.
And then I would, I've got like my third one is a mixture of about 15 different ones because I love movies, but I'll have to go with Saving Private Ryan. So,
Okay, not
yeah,
surprising. All right,
yeah.
number two, who is your Mount Rushmore of the most influential people in your life?
Let's see. My father, for one. Um, let's see. I would say my grandfather as well,
Okay.
teaching me from an early age, just from attitude, to everything. My brother Matt, and because Matt, a lot of brothers, and especially older brothers, are not like my brother Matt was. My brother Matt was the ultimate cheerleader of anything that I did. I mean, drove me to all, practices, was always supportive, came to every event, and was always the first one, to dab me up and say, dude, that was amazing. So I would say family is almost my entire Mount Rushmore. And then I would say my first would be my boss at Mutual of Omaha when I got my first job out of college. His name was Andy Allen, and he has still to this day we're in touch, and he's a great man. But he picked me out of a room of probably 200 people, and selected me out of a ton, and just I don't know. It was all according to him. It was all from eyesight, posture, and all of
Sure.
that. In a 2 minute conversation, and he selected me and trained me and gave me, the financial means too. After about a year, to be able to start the Titans football team, to be able to do those other things, and led me down the path of honestly, of also at an early age knowing what success was.
Okay.
You know, yeah.
Love
So
it.
I'd say those four folks.
All right. A little more trivia stuff. How about does pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
No,
Amen
absolutely
to
not.
that. Coffee or beer?
Coffee.
I love the fact that you thought about it though. What's your favorite quote?
My favorite quote. Um, Tell them I'm through for love of the game.
Love it. How about who is your not favorite, but who is the greatest Atlanta Brave in your
Oh,
opinion?
uh, it's got to be Hank. But I'm a big Dale Murphy fan.
Okay.
Yeah, Dale. I've got a ton of signed Dale Murphy stuff. But
Murph is
Dale,
your favorite all time?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'd say,
Ain't
yeah.
nothing wrong
So
with that,
Dale
Mormon.
Murphy,
I'm with it.
yeah.
Give me your dream golf foursome.
Oh man, it's got. I mean, obviously, Tiger, uh, Phil Mickelson.
He's an idiot, and I
Um,
love it. By the way,
oh, I know, me too.
what a
But
trash talker.
I met him at the Masters, and so now I've been obsessed with him ever since.
Yeah.
And then Bryson DeChambeau.
Whew.
So yeah,
Well,
Bryson, he's changing the game of golf a little bit.
talk
So
about some compressors of the ball. That's a foursome right there, my friend. All
that's
right.
for sure.
Speaking on that same, hey, you can only play one course, right?
Okay.
Augusta National, U.S. Open, Beth Page Black, set up with
Okay.
U.S. Open conditions, or the Open, the old course, St. Andrews in Scotland.
Oh, definitely Augusta. I mean, it's. I probably wouldn't have answered it that way if I hadn't have finally gone a couple years ago. But
Yeah.
now that I've seen it in person, it's amazing. I mean,
For,
every blade of grass on that property,
for the
is
people that's
just,
never been, Andrew,
oh my
the
gosh.
smell is
Oh yeah.
different. The azaleas, the and the
Yep.
on TV you don't get to understand how hilly it is and the slope,
Oh yeah.
bro. It's special.
It is. It's incredible. I mean, we had to park a mile and a half away just to get into the entrance,
Yeah,
and I mean, I think my Apple Watch said we walked 10.6 miles.
and was happy to do it.
I went on like a Tuesday practice round where you could still have your phone and stuff and things, and it was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I recommend it to anybody, but that would definitely be the place where I want to play
and the
one
cost
day.
is so affordable, man. That's what I love about it. You can actually take a family out there if you can get tickets,
Yeah.
and afford to feed and everything your family. Man, they do it the
Oh
right
yeah.
way.
Yeah, they do. They really do. Well, they try to keep it as it was,
Yeah, I like it.
and that's what I also appreciate is the history of that tournament. So they don't change for anybody.
And when I was putting the list together, I didn't really think about that you can actually play two of the three courses.
Yeah.
Although I do not want to play Beth Page Black set up at U.S. Open conditions.
Good lord, you want to go shoot 100 and want to go shoot yourself? Yeah. I
I,
mean,
I can do that at Twin Bridges.
yeah.
So,
We can do that. We can do that at Twin
yeah,
later.
yeah, it doesn't matter. Hey, are you an NFL draft guy?
Oh yeah.
Who was your team? Is it Tennessee or Atlanta?
No, I don't believe it or not. I don't have a team.
Really?
I'm nope. I am super obsessed with fantasy football because me and my family members and friends are in like our 14th season
Sure.
of doing it, and so because of that, you kind of lose allegiances to individual teams because now it's more individual player based. But I would say if I did have a favorite NFL team that I love watching more than most, it was always the Green Bay Packers.
Okay. I noticed the helmet over there.
Oh yeah, shoot, I forgot about that. Yeah, I was a huge Brett Favre fan, and our my assistant up front, her dad actually knew Brett Favre, and it's
Wow.
made out signed to her dad.
That's pretty cool right there. I'm a
Yeah,
huge Bills fan. I'm a Bills guy. There's no question
I
about
love
that.
the Bills now. I love Josh Allen. I love the way he plays. Yeah, they're fun too.
First pick of the draft. Who's it going to be?
Mm. Travis Hunter.
Not who it should be. Who is it going to
Yeah,
be? Unfortunately, I think Tennessee's taking a quarterback. I think a decision's made, and I think it's going to be Cam Ward, and I'm
Yeah,
not
I mean,
for it.
I like Cam Ward. Cam's a stud. Don't get me wrong. So probably him. It's definitely not Shador Sanders.
It is
Okay.
not Shador Sanders.
I think I see him going low first, if not second round now.
I
So
agree. I think there could be four quarterbacks taken the first, definitely three, and I don't know that Shador is the second. I think Jackson Dart may sneak ahead of him. That's a whole
mm,
different. That's a whole different show. That's a whole
yep,
different show. But hey,
true.
anything in closing here, man? First of all, I want to thank you for your service and how you
Thank you.
serve your community. You're huge in Rainbow City. Joe Taylor loves you. And
That was a good man.
what you do in the city of Gadsden and Etowah County and beyond. ZLA, yeah, you're in Rainbow City, but man, you guys are offering jobs all over the country.
We are. We are. I appreciate the kind words, man. I really do. And appreciate what you do. So you're sticking to it. Really trying to highlight local, talent as well, which is very commendable. So we've got to do what we got to do to help grow your show.
I appreciate
And
that.
get more emphasis, on people wanting to tune in and listen to what you have to say. So I think you ask great questions, and I definitely, and I mean, not trying to be lovey. I
Yeah,
appreciate your friendship.
yeah.
So and you've been a staple for years now since I moved back to Rainbow City, and I always had the exact same attitude, the exact same positivity. I don't ever hear you get down on anything. I mean, so it's so stay like that, please.
Man, I appreciate that. I think the next time I have you on, it'd be a round table with you and Jason Wilson. That's a
Cool.
show I can get behind right there.
Hey man, I live across the street from him. So we can do that anytime.
No doubt, man. Again, thank you so much. We appreciate what you do, putting people to work, putting food on
Yes, sir.
tables for people. So go check him out, zlausa.com. Is that right?
You got it. You
Man,
got it.
and if you got a great work ethic, if you're ready to work, Andrew put you work. Man, thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you
Thanks,
for
buddy.
watching The Jerry White Show.
Have a great day, y'all.